The Dana Show is going to give us some true and real insight on the Middle East and Israel. I'm Tal the Traveling Clat, your favorite white colonizer. Let's take a look at this clip.
So, as you guys remember, we talked about this a couple of days ago when this interview came out. I was really shocked by this interview. I was shocked by the claims that this person was making. And I went into her history, her background. It's George Stephanopoulos' sister. I talked about the previous stunts that she pulled a couple of decades ago and the false accusations that she had made at that point. And people can go and look at the podcast, listen to that if they want to check it out. It shocked me. We talked about all of that. And we're going to expand on this conversation. Welcome back to the program. Dana Lash with you. You can listen all around the country terrestrially. You can watch Channel 347 Direct TV. We're at X, Rumble, everywhere else. I also saw this post on X. The post read, Tucker, I am an indigenous Christian living in Israel. The woman you interviewed is not. I cannot believe how many lies just came out of her mouth. Many people have asked you to interview me, yet you've ignored me. Is truth important to you? Let's talk. And so I went and I looked this gentleman up because I thought, whoa, that's a pretty, because there are a lot of Christians that live in this area in the Middle East and you really don't ever hear from them. And it was just stunning. I wanted to bring on our guest, Shadi Khalul, who is the president and founder of the Israeli Christian Aramaic Association, NGO of the Aramaic Galilee Center. And he lives in the Middle East, and he spends his time educating people on the truths of this area as someone who lives it, as someone who has firsthand experience. And Shadi joins us now on video. Shadi, it's a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for giving us some of your time today. I got to get your initial reaction when you saw this interview. What was your first response? Or what did you think when you started hearing some of the things that that guest was saying?
Thank you, Dana, first of all, for inviting me and allowing me to actually expose the truth and the cause of the true Christians, indigenous people in this land. What is the true cause? How they are persecuted? I am a Christian, indigenous, the first followers of Jesus in this land. We speak Aramaic language. We still speak the language and teach the language to our children, to pray in it in the church, to keep the culture of Jesus that he in the same language was speaking. And there some people like, I don't know, this nun that I never heard of before, came in spreading lies in our name, in our behalf. And now the world start believing that this is the truth of the Christians and how they live in Israel or under Jewish majority and democracy, the only democracy in this region that allowing us to thrive in the Galilee and in Nazareth and in Haifa and in any other cities in Israel, while the 40,000 Christians that live in West Bank that sadly, as brothers and sisters, they insisted to be under Arafat. Terrorists came from Tunisia and actually controlled by Arafat and being oppressed by Arafat and PLO. And that's the main reason that they are actually migrating from Bethlehem and from Ramallah and from other Christian towns in that region because of Islamic Sharia law oppression that adopted by the Palestinian Authority. So I cannot accept those lies anymore as a Christians, because this is hurting us as a Christians living under Jewish control, and we are the majority in this region. And if a Christian want to migrate from within Israel, living under Arab mixed towns, guess where he migrate? He migrate to a majority cities that are Jewish majority and not Arab majority. Why is that? You guess what? Because we enjoy freedom under Jewish majority cities and not under Arab majority cities.
There's a reason why Christians have fled Arab states. I mean, that's very true. Shadi, one of the implications from this nun, Maria Stephanopoulos, in this interview was that the Christian population in Israel is shrinking. But that's not true, is it?
The Christian population in Israel, it was 50,000 people when Israel existed or was established in 1948. Today, the Christian population count 180,000 Christians. Let me give you a different numbers. in Syria and Lebanon. In Lebanon, there are 1 million Maronite Christians like me. I am a Maronite Christian. I come from Syriac, Aramaic, Phoenician background. We are the indigenous people of this land. Guess where are most of the Maronites today? Most of them live in diaspora, 8 million in diaspora, in USA, in South America, in Europe, while only 1 million live still in Lebanon. In Syria, we have 2.5 million Christians before. Guess how much we have left today? 500,000. In Iraq, we had 1.5 million Christians. Guess today is 150,000 Christians. Under Palestinian Authority, when Israel controlled the Judea and Samaria, historical Jewish lands, by the way, where all the Bible stories were taking place as Judea of Bethlehem, or Bethlehem of Judea, not Bethlehem of Palestine, it is called in the Bible. In our Bible that we believe in, the Christians were majority under Israel control. Under Palestinian Authority, since Oslo Agreement, this cursed Oslo Agreement, when Bethlehem handed to Palestinian Authority instead of to Jewish Israel, the Christians migrated and become a minority of 10% from 90%. Not because of Israel, because of Palestinian Islamic oppression. And I have so many examples I can give you. So many people calling me, telling me they're actually the problems and persecution and humiliation, raping their daughters, forcing them to sell their lands, to sell their stores. And they don't do it. And once they don't do it, they threaten them to kill them. And many of them migrate to USA, to Canada, to Australia, and to other parts of Europe. That's the truth. Not because of Israel. I wish Israel will go back and take control of Bethlehem. Because then the Christians, you will see them speaking the truth. Now, all those Christians are paid by Qatari Islamic Brotherhood movements in order to spread lies, part of the cause of Islam against Jewish-only state in this region. Exactly the same they did for the Maronite Christian and majority of Christians Lebanon before, during the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and until they controlled and changed the system and make the system controlled by Islamic, how we call it, Sunnis before, and now Shia Iranian axis.
I think, Shadi, the point that you made just then, too, about the Qatari involvement and the financing is incredibly important, because it really does seem in the past 5 to 10 years there has been this effort to promote a false story about Christians in Israel and Christians just in the region, and really essentially almost seeming like they're defending Hamas and acting as though Hamas and the PLO were somehow better friends of Christians than Israeli leadership. And I mean, you live there. You see this, and you know that to be not true.
Dana, this is the same PLO with Arafat killing Christians, massacring Christians in the Moor massacre, right? The Moor massacre 1976 in Lebanon. Same Arafat forces, it's called Al-Sa'ika, who actually massacred Christians in churches. They butchered them, they killed them, they took children, throw them from 3-story buildings and shot them like ducks. That's the same Palestinians who ruled Bethlehem and Ramallah and actually treated the Christians as a second-class citizen and let them pay taxes, or jizya, we call it in they call it in Islam, jizya.
And living as a dhimmi. All right, first and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, if anybody here watching right now has any connection to Shadi,
So, as you guys remember,
if he lives in Israel, which I'm assuming he does, I want to meet Shadi. I want to travel up to him. I would like to make some content with him and learn about his way of life. I'm so fascinated by the indigenous Christians of this region. I've learned so much from them and how much of their ancient heritage. And I DNA tested myself. A part of my DNA is also Aramaean, by the way. I think it is only like 20% or something, but 20% of my DNA is actually the same as this man. So we're related in some context, and I would love to have a conversation with him and learn from him. So if anybody knows Shadi Halul, please, description, email, wherever it is. You guys know how to get in touch with me. Instagram. You guys helped me get in touch with Benjamin last time. Please help me get in touch with this guy. I would love to bring him onto the channel to interview and actually walk in his footsteps and learn from him. But he's absolutely correct. This is what I talk about on this channel ad nauseum. Christian population across the Middle East is shrinking. It is under threat. The Christians, the indigenous Christians of the Middle East, the non-Arab colonized Christians, the ones who have retained their heritage, and for the most part, their DNA as well. If they remain Christian, from the most part, they have pure Christian DNA, or as close to it can be. Many of them have ancient ties to ancient Israel. Many of them are the indigenous groups of this land, and they are now under threat of going extinct because of radical Islam and the way that radical Islam treats them. And it's not just the Christians, it's the Armenians and the Arameans, it's the Assyrians, it's the Syriacs, it's the Maronites, it's the Coptics, it's the Kurdish, it's the Yazidis, it's the Mandeans. So many groups, and every single group is under threat. And like I've said to you guys before, every ethnic minority is looking at Israel right now and getting so much inspiration from us because they see us fighting off all of these Arab armies and kicking absolute ass. And every single one of them wants a slice of that. Every single one of these ethnic minorities does not want to live under the Arab caliphates anymore, which it is, and they don't want to live as dhimmis anymore, which they do. In every single Arab country, ethnic minorities are treated as dhimmis. Maybe it's not the same as what it used to be during the caliphate times where they have to pay a jizya and all this. I mean, some elements they do, but they are dhimmis. They're never going to be the same or equal to their Arab counterparts. And if they reject being Arab, the way that this guy does, and he knows his heritage, he speaks Arabic, but obviously he doesn't consider himself an Arab, he's under threat. And we need to sanctify and save these people's lives. I really believe so. I think it's been a disservice at the hands of Western Christians and Jews all over the world that we are not standing up for these ethnic minorities. Yes, we have faults with the Coptic, and yes, we have faults with the Assyrians in the past. For sure, we haven't had perfect relationships. I mean, the Assyrians enslaved us at a certain point and destroyed our capital. But still, these people, okay, they exist today, and we need to save their lives. We need to keep them alive, not so that they can come back and attack us one day, but so we can prove to the world, one, it's the right thing to do. That's the first thing, is it's the right thing to do is to save them. But second, to prove to the world that it's not just Arabs out here. There's a bunch of us. I think it would be the most beautiful thing in the world if Assyrian Christians and Jewish Israelis came together to work together in a coalition to save each other's lives. I think it'd be the most beautiful thing in the world. Because yes, Assyrians at one point sacked our temple, destroyed our civilization, but now we get to lift them up, to save them, as we're a stronger army now, as we're a stronger nation now. That's what I really believe in. I'll see you guys in the next one. I love you a long time. Goodbye, class. If you believe in my content and want to support me, just know your help is needed. There's a bunch of great ways to support me, being PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, or joining my Patreon community down below. Patreon is the best way to support my channel, and you'll get a bunch of cool perks depending on what tier you join. Another great way to support me is by buying my merchandise on thetravelingclat.com. I regularly drop new merch designs like this beautiful hat or this amazing shirt, where you can support the channel and get something cool for yourself. I also have an amazing Discord community with people from all over the world. Thank you so much for your support.